Have you ever been told you're intimidating by men, by friends, even by women who meant well? Maybe part of you even felt a little proud when you heard it. You thought, hey, I take good care of myself and I don't need someone to complete me. And you were right. But if you're honest, maybe there have been other moments too where you wondered, if I'm such a great catch, why am I still alone? Why do men come on strong and then pull away when it starts to get real? Why does it seem like the women who fall apart sometimes are the ones men stay for? Most men will never tell you the real answer, especially the good ones, but I will. Because the truth is, men who are actually capable of love aren't really intimidated by you. They're not pulling away because you're too strong. They're pulling away because they can't feel enough of you to stay. When many things about you scream, I'm good, I've got it handled, I don't need anything, there's nowhere for him to safely land, nowhere he fits, nowhere he matters. So he respects you, he enjoys you, but he leaves. And not because you're not amazing, not because you're too much, but because he couldn't find a way into your heart. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 5 real human shifts that open the part of you a man can actually connect to, the part that makes him want to choose you without pressure, without second guessing or arm twisting, because he can finally feel where he belongs. And no, this isn't about losing yourself. It's not about shrinking down, playing dumb, being a damsel in distress, or lowering your standards. It's about making just enough room for the part of you that's tired of carrying it all alone. So he doesn't just admire you, he feels you. Because when a man finally feels you, not the polished version you've had to build to survive, not the version that holds everything together at all times, but you, something clicks, something real touches him, and he knows his search is over. And not because you showed up perfect, but because for the first time, his heart could feel that he really mattered to you. You may not realize this yet, but the fact that you're still here, the fact that you're even willing to listen to me and to this already says more about your courage than you probably know. Most strong, capable women spend their whole lives protecting themselves from this kind of conversation, because letting yourself want more intimacy, more hugs, more deep kisses, 2 arms around you at night, means letting yourself risk something most people never speak out loud, the possibility of being rejected at the deepest level. But you're here, and I need you to know, I believe in you. I see the woman who's still fighting for epic love, even after all the reasons she had to stop believing in it. And I also need you to know, it is not your fault that you've hardened. It's not your fault that you became so good at holding it all together. That was your nervous system doing exactly what it needed to do. That was your inner child, your most brilliant parts protecting you from pain, from abandonment, from being left carrying it all alone. And the truth is, that protection probably saved you. Staying self-reliant was better than getting lost inside a toxic relationship that couldn't meet the depth of what you could hold inside. But if you're honest, you also know there's more waiting for you. You can feel it. It's not about needing someone to fix you. It's not about finding someone to complete you. It's about finally feeling seen, held, wanted, desired, witnessed, chosen by someone who doesn't just admire you, but feels you, wants you, and is even willing to risk his life for you if necessary. Because no, not every guy who doesn't come closer is a bad man. Listen, I'm not pretending to say that insecurity in men doesn't exist. That would be laughable. Some men do feel insecure around you. Some men are intimidated, but that's not the whole story. There are good men, capable men, emotionally strong and intelligent men, and these are not scared of your strength. They're simply not feeling enough of you to fall in love with you. And not because you're wrong, not because you're too much, but because the parts of you they need to choose you fully are still hidden just out of reach. And this isn't a personality flaw. It's not too late to change. And I know you might be thinking right now, Bern, where the hell are these men you're talking about? I don't see them anywhere. I hear you. And I can promise you, having helped hundreds of women around the world who sat exactly where you're sitting and felt the way you're feeling right now, that when you soften the right way, when you let the right parts of you be felt and expressed, the right men start appearing. Most times they were closer than you thought. It just wasn't your beauty or achievements they were waiting for. It was your presence. That's the doorway we're about to open together. But please hear me out when I say this. The space we're stepping into right now is just as important as the shifts themselves. This video doesn't really start when I say shift one. It already started the moment you chose to listen with an open heart. Because what you're fighting for isn't a checklist, it's a full life. The kind where he's gripping your hand at 2 a.m. in the ER, refusing to let go. The kind where he pulls you into his arms the moment he sees the heaviness in your eyes, not waiting for you to say something. The kind where you're dancing together barefoot in the kitchen at midnight, laughing so hard you can barely breathe. The kind where he whispers, "I'm not going anywhere," and you believe it because you can feel it. You can feel him. The kind of life where you're not wondering if you're asking for too much because you're finally being met exactly where you are. This isn't a fantasy. It's a different future, and you're strong and intelligent and bold enough to claim it. These shifts aren't about becoming someone you're not. They're about letting more of you be seen, one courageous step at a time. So let's begin. Shift number one, let yourself be seen one tiny step at a time. There's something I need you to think about for a second. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff in a beautiful sunset, and you're holding a violin in your hands, carrying a song that you've had inside of you your whole life. But instead of playing it, you hesitate. You wonder if anyone would understand it. You wonder if someone might hear it and walk away before the song even has a chance to reach them. So you do the safer thing. You hold it in, you keep it quiet, and after a while, you almost forget what it sounded like at all. Wayne Dyer said it best: please do not die with your music still in you. And I would add, don't live a life where no one even hears it. The first shift isn't about spilling everything all at once. It's about sharing just 1% more of who you really are when you'd normally hold it back or keep it hidden. That might mean letting your face actually light up when something excites you, instead of brushing it off like it's no big deal. It could mean letting the ache show in your voice when you talk about the thing that you lost but never stopped caring about. It could mean letting your body pause in the middle of a hard truth and actually feeling it in your body for a moment. Because a life where you keep hiding will end up costing you way more than the risk of being seen ever could. Neuroscience backs this too. Real connection doesn't happen because of how well you present yourself. It happens when your nervous system sends subconscious tiny signals through your voice, through your face, through your body, that you're actually alive to what matters inside of you. I go deeper into how to recognize this and share those signals in my video on emotional attunement. I'm going to link it up in the description if you're interested in watching that later. Because the thing is, when you keep it all buried, you don't just keep men from feeling you. You keep yourself from feeling you. And this shift, letting yourself be seen 1% more, trust me, it's not about getting a man. It's about the life you look back on. It's about whether you lived half covered, always wondering if someone would eventually see you, or whether you decided to risk being fully seen now, imperfectly, and with purpose. Because the truth is, most people never hear their own music, and even fewer are brave enough to let anyone else hear it too. Now, you have a chance to be one of the few, and it starts with just one moment today. One smile you don't mute. One story you don't make smaller. One beat where your heart shows up, as my favorite poet once said, with half a shade more courage. And if you think this sounds too small to matter, I need you to remember this. It only takes 1 degree to turn hot water into steam. Sometimes the smallest shifts makes the biggest difference if it's the right one. Shift number 2, let him see what you're still becoming. You know the kind of building we walk past every day? Finished buildings. Beautiful, impressive, complete buildings. We admire them for a second and maybe take a photo, but then we move on. Why? Because they fade into the background. But a construction site, well, we usually stop. We look, it's more mysterious, it's more exciting. We wonder, what is it going to become? That's what humans do. We don't just connect to what's complete, we connect to what's becoming. And the same is true in intimacy, and the same is true in love. When you only share the parts of you that sound resolved, the things that you've already mastered, the version of your story that's been wrapped up in a little nice bow, then you might impress someone. He might think she's so smart, but when you share what you're still reaching for, what didn't go as planned, your dreams, your hopes, what you're still learning how to want again, that's when you become unforgettable. Dr. Dan Siegel says integration is the heart of health because real connection isn't about proving you figured everything out. It's about bringing your whole integrated self into the room. The ambition and the ache, the part that got back up and the part that still isn't sure how. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about sharing it all at once. It's not about emotional exposure just to see what happens. But as Brené Brown teaches, vulnerability without boundaries isn't vulnerability. It's self-betrayal. So the way you do this is you go one step at a time. Imagine you share something real and then you watch. How does he respond? Where's his center of integrity? Can he stay with it? Does he meet you with presence or pull away? And only when it feels safe, only when he begins to vulnerably share something meaningful too, do you offer a little bit more. This is a beautiful dance of mutual intimacy and respect. It's not a spotlight. You're not trying to be impressive. You're trying to be in something real. So this might sound something like, hey, I thought this career would fulfill me, but sometimes I wonder if I've built the wrong dream. Or that relationship ended 5 years ago, but honestly, I still feel how much of myself I lost trying to hold it all together. As I said, you don't need to spill everything, but you need to stop hiding the part of you that still wants, that still aches, that still hopes. Because when a man only sees what you've conquered, he may respect you, but he won't feel like there's space for him. Your nervous system, like his, is always asking, can I find a place in this person's world? And when you show up with even a glimpse of what you're still building, not in pain, but in truth, you open up that space. Because the right guy isn't looking for the version of you that's figured all out. He's looking for the raw, vulnerable, real part of you that is still alive in what's unfinished. This is where intimacy begins. And it starts with one real moment, not of pain, but of honesty. Now, if you're a single woman watching this, I'd be willing to bet you're not aware of the root cause why you're still single. So what I've done is I've taken 15 years of guiding women by the hand in every part of the world you can imagine, with every kind of love challenge, and created a quiz you can take in about 60 seconds that will reveal to you the real reason you're still single. If you want to participate, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description of this video. You will see a page that looks like this. Answer a few simple questions, and within 60 seconds, you'll have two things: the answer to the elusive question why you're still single, and a custom report based on your specific attraction blind spot that will share with you the number one action you can take today to attract the relationship you want in a fraction of the time. The third shift is stay with a feeling long enough to hear it. Have you ever noticed how a car gives you a warning light many times long before something breaks? It doesn't scream. It's a little tiny orange light, barely visible, easy to dismiss, that says, hey, pay attention. But if you keep driving like nothing's wrong, especially for a long time, the problem doesn't disappear. It just hides until it breaks down at the worst possible moment. Your emotions work pretty much the same way. That flicker in your chest, that tightness behind your ribs, that moment when something in you stiffens and you think, hey, did I just feel dismissed, or am I making that stuff up? It's not drama. It's your system sending you a signal. Something about this isn't sitting right. Most high capacity, deeply self-reliant women learned early on that it wasn't safe or welcome to need too much. So they got really good at pushing through, at making things easier for everyone else, at keeping things smooth even when their chest was tightening. But here is the truth. Learning to stay with your emotional experience, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, is one of the most vulnerable and courageous things you'll ever do. And most women were never taught how to do this. Most men were not taught how to do this either. They skip the first step entirely, asking themselves, what am I actually feeling right now? Because you can't speak up for your needs if you don't even know what they are. You can't express a boundary if you haven't paused long enough to feel your emotions or where they live in your body. That tightness in your chest might be grief. That heat in your face and in your neck could be shame. That knot in your stomach when he dismisses something you say might be the early signs of resentment. This is emotional literacy. It's not flashy, but it changes everything. Because once you can feel what's true, then you can decide what to do with it. And from that place, you can say something like, hey, something about that made me feel shut down. I want to name it before I pretend I'm fine. That takes courage. Or, hey, I notice I'm starting to pull back, and I think something about what you said didn't sit right with me. Can I be honest with you about it? That is not drama, that's emotional presence. Dr. Gabor Mate said something very powerful. When we're forced to choose between attachment and authenticity, we'll sacrifice authenticity in order to survive. For a lot of fiercely capable women, survival meant adjusting, shrinking, trying to stay close without ever being fully felt. But if you're dating for real connection, you can't keep disappearing from your own truth, because here's what we know from neuroscience. When you stay connected with what you're feeling in the moment without pushing it away, you send powerful safety cues to your own nervous system. You're not bypassing, you're not abandoning yourself again. You're letting your system learn this moment is safe enough for me to stay. And when a man sees that kind of emotional presence, he doesn't just hear what you're saying, he feels you, he trusts you, he slows down with you, his breath changes. This shift doesn't mean turning every awkward moment into a conversation or a confrontation. It means staying connected to what you feel, even when it's uncomfortable. Because every time you don't smooth it over to make someone else feel more comfortable, you get a little closer to yourself, and you give him a chance to get closer to the woman he can actually love. Shift number 4, be pursued, not just chosen. Think about a sunflower. It doesn't chase the sun. It stays rooted where it is, alive, real, open, and it turns toward what feels warm and right. It lets the light reach it. Real connection isn't about chasing either. It's about creating space for someone to move toward you and seeing if they will. Most women who are strong and capable learn to step in early without even thinking about it. They keep conversations flowing when the guy gets quiet. They suggest the next date so things don't lose momentum. They patch over awkward moments so nobody feels uncomfortable. And not because they're needy, because they're used to carrying all that needs carrying. But here's the cost. When you keep doing the emotional heavy lifting, when you don't allow him to pursue, you take away the space where a man would feel his own pull to step toward you. You don't interrupt attraction, you interrupt the natural build of emotional investment, and that investment really matters. Dr. Helen Fisher's research shows that dopamine, the chemical that drives pursuit, spikes when we're actively moving towards something we want, not when it's just handed to us. Another study by Stanford's research on effort-based decision-making found that we assign more value to rewards we have to work for, even when the outcome is the same. In love, just like in life, effort makes something matter more. If he never has to stretch toward you, he'll enjoy the connection, but it will never sink in as deep because it didn't cost him anything to reach it. And this doesn't mean you have to sit around silent and waiting. It doesn't mean you play games. It means you stay alive in the connection, but you stop covering every gap for him. Here's how you can tell when you are carrying too much. You're the one always keeping the texting thread going, or maybe you suggest plans without giving him the space to miss you and offer that first. You adjust your schedule without even seeing if he'll adjust his. You patch over awkward silences because you're afraid he's going to lose interest if you don't. This doesn't mean ignoring how you feel, but you're not stepping in to manage his side of the connection before he even knows there's something to notice. You're giving him the chance to feel the tension and decide from his heart what he wants to do about it. It's similar to building a bridge. If you build both sides yourself, sure, you're going to meet yourself in the middle, but the bridge will only hold if he's building it too. Effort isn't a nice bonus. It's the foundation on the real connection. And when it comes to polarity, you don't have to overthink feminine energy. You don't have to act softer than you feel. You just have to stop doing his half of the work and let the space between you mean something. You can show openness without over carrying the whole connection. And it sounds something like this. Hey, I love it when a man takes the initiative to lead. It lets me enjoy getting to know him. It feels really good when someone is clear about making plans. I get to relax and be myself more. And when you say it, please don't laugh it off. Don't minimize it with a joke. Don't backtrack and say, but no pressure, to make him feel more comfortable. Say it directly and let him feel it, because pursuit matters, not just to test him, because pursuit is how he builds his own emotional stake in what you're creating. If you always have to carry both sides, he may enjoy you, but he definitely won't value you the same way. And you'll miss the feeling you deserve, the one where you can feel him moving toward you without you dragging him there. The fifth shift is be courageous enough to voice your needs and receive. Trying to receive love while pretending you don't need it is like trying to pour water into a closed cup. It doesn't matter how much someone offers. If you are locked shut, nothing gets in. Most strong women learn to lock that cup early, and not because they didn't want love, but because needing felt dangerous. Because somewhere along the line, they got the message: if you can meet all your own needs, no one can ever disappoint you. Let me tell you, it's a lie. Attachment theory makes this brutally clear. We are wired to need each other. We are wired for co-regulation, to feel safer, stronger, and more alive when we're connected to someone who responds to us. Self-sufficiency sounds noble, but without connection, it turns into deep isolation. Real strength is in being courageous enough to show your needs to someone who's earned the right to see them, and letting them step in without running away from it the moment they do. Receiving isn't a passive verb, it's active. It's vulnerable, it's brave. Polyvagal theory shows that true receiving requires your nervous system to shift into a state of openness, which is also called ventral vagal activation, when you can stay present even when connection feels risky. And that's the real edge for most strong women. Not asking, receiving. You know you're blocking receiving when you deflect compliments instead of letting them sink in. When you say, I'm fine, even when you're longing and craving help. You feel a flash of discomfort when someone offers something and maybe you joke it away. Or when you apologize for having a real need at all. And the thing is, the body tells the truth. Tight chest, shrinking shoulders, quick laughter to cover a moment that mattered. That's the signal that you're at the edge of a real change. Because when you stay open 1 second longer than you're used to or comfortable with, when you breathe through the discomfort, instead of pushing it down or pushing it away, something new happens. You give someone the chance to show you who they really are. You give yourself the chance to feel what it's like to be met, not fixed, not tolerated, but deeply met. If you want to practice receiving, it starts small. When someone compliments you, pause. Let it sink in before you respond. When someone offers help, say, hey, thank you. I love that. Even if part of you wants to say, you don't have to. When you feel yourself about to minimize a need, stop. Say it plainly and directly instead. It might sound something like, hey, thank you. I really appreciate you thinking of me. Or I would love that. Thank you for offering. Or honestly, it would mean a lot for me to have your support. Because the truth is, letting yourself need and be needed is not weakness. It's the foundation of intimacy and real love. Terry Real said it simply: if you're too afraid to need anyone, you'll end up alone, even inside your relationships. And men don't bond by admiring your independence. They bond by investing in your world, by seeing a place where their effort matters. When you let yourself be open enough to receive, you're not asking too much. You're offering the one thing a man who's ready for real love is longing and craving to find: a place where his strength means something. A place where love isn't just given, it's felt. And the man who's worthy of that, he won't shrink away from it. He'll move closer, because receiving you, being part of your life in a way that matters, will become his reward too. You deserve to be seen. You deserve the freedom to be deeply witnessed. You deserve to reach the end of your life having lived an epic love story, not just a safe one. Every shift we talked about today, letting yourself be seen, 1% more, staying with what you feel, sharing the parts of you that are still becoming, leaving space to be pursued, letting yourself be cared for, and allowing the receiving from someone. They're not about becoming someone new. They're about letting the woman you already are be felt. David White said it better than I could ever say it myself. We are here essentially to risk ourselves in the world, that we are a form of invitation to others and to otherness, that we're meant to hazard ourselves for the right thing, for the right woman, for the right man, for a son or a daughter, for the right work, or for a gift given against all the odds. That's where you're stepping into now. Not perfection, not performance, presence. One real moment at a time, one real connection at a time. And the love you're building toward, it's not a gift someone hands you. It's a life you choose to open yourself to again and again and again, until one day, without forcing it, it meets you right where you are. Hope this is helpful, insightful, and useful. It would mean the world to me and my channel, because it's the only way I can grow and reach more women. If you click like and subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to continue learning how you can attract the guy you want without the need for gimmicks, manipulation, games, or stupid techniques, make sure to watch the next video right here.